They scroll and swipe while the matches play, dancing on screens while the medals stray. A kick missed wide, the dreams fall flat. Should've brought the champ with the Mexican hat. Tick-tock spins, but the goal don't stay. Lost the fight in the viral ballet. Bangers a match, no spice, no flash. They're losing ground in the digital crash. The mat's gone cold, the crowd's gone still. Chasing trends, not chasing skill. The best was left far behind. Now the victory's just a state of mind. Scroll, scroll, the clock ticks slow. Winning's a rhythm they don't even know. Swipe, swipe, the medals slip. Should've packed the grid, not just the trip. Tick-tock spins, but the goal don't stay. Lost the fight in a viral ballet. Bangers and mash, no spice, no flash. They're losing ground in a digital crash. Next time pack the fire, the heart, the clash. Leave the phone and bring the smash. A kick that lands, a dream that lasts. No more excuses, no more tick-tock cash. Oh, tick-tock cash.
In the words of Confucius and Lao Tzu and the ancient sages, Perez, Moreno, and Jennings, sorry, not sorry, snowflakes. 6-7, baby.
Welcome to the Warehouse 15, and we are back. Not back in black, but back in gold and purple. We got Coach Moreno back from China, La China. He's got the... Oh, TJ, did you get your mail yet today? Did you
I
get your...
check my mail. I didn't have
I checked my mail. I didn't see that. Did we get a shirt? Did we get a shirt from Coach Moreno? Looking good, brother. Looking good. And then we got TJ in the house. How you doing, Mr. TJ?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks too long. 2 weeks too long, man. Here we go with the incense. 2 weeks are too long.
Dude,
so
you got to start
I'm
it off.
definitely happy to be back.
I'm trying to clear the
me,
negative energy. Clear the negative energy.
I have people asking me when we're going to do a podcast. We're going to do a podcast. You know, we had to give the great Coach Moreno, Silver One, as they call him at the bottom of the screen, a chance to.
I think we're going to have to change that to Gold One. We may have to say it in a Portuguese accent, but we may have to change it.
Nah, you can't switch it up now. You got to vibe with it.
We may have to change it now.
It's working.
Well, you know, it's our own reference for ourselves to just kind of chat and goof around about. But, you know, there's no shortage of gold medals on this podcast, gold medal attitudes, but more importantly, gold medal performances. So we are killing it, kicking it, and everybody in the world knows what we do. So let's get to it. A lot to get to. I know you guys have been on the road hitting. I think, TJ, you're in the area this weekend, right? You coming out to Cal?
I am. I coach house school, going to Living Proof Martial Arts. I'll be doing a seminar out there
Nice.
Friday. He'll have his test, so 2 sessions on Saturday. I heard some of your guys are coming.
They are coming, and then I heard you're also going to go to take the other seminar in town. Are you going to go take that other seminar because you need to learn?
I think I'll
Just
pass
joking.
on.
Yeah,
I gotta get home. I leave on Tuesday for Croatia Open as well with the AAU national team. So
I'd love to see
I'll
you,
be
but
out
I'm
there
in
with them.
Portland this weekend. My son is, of course, playing soccer. My wife's going to get up there for a day. We're going to be back on Saturday. So when do you leave?
Sunday, early Sunday morning, like 7 a.m., 7:25 a.m. Sunday morning. I don't know.
I would love to, next time you're out here, let me know. I'll catch up with you. But let's get started today. Coach Moreno, what do we got for today? Oh, Cerveza. Cerveza. Oh, nice. It looks just like my shirt.
Listen, first of all, I missed you guys. People have been asking me left and right, when are you going to talk about the World Championships? Where you guys been? I think it's been 3 weeks, TJ, because I was a week
Not
in
at 3.
Rio and 2 weeks in China. So I'm still a little crazy jet lag during the day, but so happy to, obviously always happy to come home, Quick little update. I want to just give a shout out to three of my kids. My
Nice.
oldest is just got her summer internship with this giant firm in Fort Lauderdale. This girl will be making big money, so I'm super happy for her. My second is graduating, just got her cap and gown from University FIU, and my third just got accepted into university out here. So pretty big things for my three oldest children, and then yeah. So I'm just want to give a quick shout
Nice.
out to that.
That's
Yeah, I'm
congratulations. That's
happy.
a long way from the barrio of Miami,
Listen,
that beautiful place that you lived in, and populated and continue to populate.
hopefully,
So,
trying to give them a better opportunity than we had, and they have a platform to do bigger, better things that we've done. So I'm super proud of them and excited for their future. But let's talk about China and the World Championships. It was, I feel like I keep living it, over and over and over. For us personally, and the Brazil squad, we made history.
oh my gosh,
Um,
yeah,
we had four finals. We had two gold medals. We had our first female gold medal, first one in 25 years. I'm sorry, 20 years. The last one was with
Jesus.
Natalia, 2005 in Madrid. You were there, young
yep, yep.
when we were heading that team. She won her first one, and now 20 years later, Maria, she, TJ, you know her really well. She's been undefeated, literally undefeated this year, and she started us off on the first day of competition, and she had a tough draw. I mean, she fought someone, she fought Spain, she fought the United States, she fought China, she fought the Olympic champion in the final. And I've been telling everybody it was like going undefeated and then losing the Super Bowl. You
Mm.
can't lose the Super Bowl. And I tell you what, she had a lot of pressure, and she certainly didn't show it. I mean, this woman is tough. She's a midget. She's what, right, TJ? She's
Yeah, on the
six
short
inches to a
end.
foot shorter than everybody. And it didn't matter if it was a European style, American style, Asian style. She shuts these chicks down. She turns out the lights, and she won that opening day gold medal for us, and it just kind of like boom, just really, you know, shot us off in a really amazing for an
Trajectory.
amazing
Yeah,
competition.
yeah,
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 the
yeah.
trajectory was crazy. I mean, we are super proud of that. And a day later, I told you that about our 80 kilogram guy, the guy Enrique, who's young and strong, and he matched up with CJ in the quarterfinal. I mean, I'm just gonna say, I don't care if people like it or don't like it. Smoked him.
Yeah.
When you don't score a point, you got smoked. You
Wait,
got you got played. You got
wait,
manhandled.
wait,
So
wait 1 second. Can you hear that? Oh my God, that's USA Taekwondo's crickets. Oh, that's what I thought it was. Go
no,
ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
Mm.
listen, I'm not trying to throw no shade. I mean, it was Enrique's day. This boy, his first, second, third match, he didn't give up a point. And for him to, for a guy like CJ's a prolific scorer. Like win or lose, the boy can score. The man can score. But Enrique turned him off. Like it was a good match, but it was 2 rounds to 0, and there was zero answers. There was zero threat. There were no points scored. And I told you guys, I told you if this dude puts it together and figures out what he's capable of, lights out. Everybody in the division better watch out. And then he went off and he ran the
We're on the table.
semifinal final. Yeah, and you know what? I gave you guys a little background. This kid is, people don't realize there was a literally a war in Rio last week. A war with the cartels and the police. Like hundreds of people slaughtered, massacred. I saw videos and photos, people beheaded, arms off, legs off. Incredible. This kid lives there. He's that close from maybe being in that kind of stuff. And here he is. I was telling everybody, he chose his destiny. And that dude now is an Olympian and a world champion. A
Wow.
world changed his life, his trajectory. So it was really cool for him to do
He
that. Like
definitely,
I said,
he definitely
did
had
you
a
watch it?
strong day. Yeah, yeah, I watched him.
Yeah.
He definitely had a strong day. Like you said, I think what's interesting about him and Maria was, um, like you said, not cruise control like it was easy, but in control. In
In control.
control, up, down, tied, left, right. They look unshakable, and they definitely had, I mean, amazing days at the World Championship.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's
mean,
you got to talk we got to talk about that a little bit. Tomorrow I'm giving this presentation to a professional soccer club about performance. They asked me to speak, and I was thinking about it a little bit, and I came up with this thing, which I'll share with you guys later, what I call the Warriors ethos, and and you got to remember. I don't know if you guys remember that movie Highlander. You remember Highlander?
yeah,
There can only
yeah,
be one. That's the ethos, and then there's
yeah.
a bunch of stuff I put around it. But the reason I mention it is you got to come to the show, you got to perform, and you have to perform where the only thing that matters and that's important is winning. That's it. There's no excuses, there's no whatever. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And at the point where you don't perform, you should be really quiet and go back to the gym and figure out what went wrong. And then you have a chance. You're a warrior. If you do anything else, then we'll talk about that later. But you become a caricature of yourself. You become a meme. You become what you were. And while your past is not a death sentence or a life sentence, it certainly is an indicator of your future. And so the road is littered with great athletes who were unable to perform at the time when they needed to perform, but yet they extolled their values and how they were the best and the best and the best and the best. And the amount of people that can actually pull that off are very few. In fact, I can't think of many. But when you think of the truly great champions, and I'll go back to the day with Korea and some of those guys, they didn't talk. A guy like Jungkook Young, he didn't talk. Jung Myeon-sam didn't talk. Park Bang-kwan didn't talk. Those guys didn't talk. They came in the gym. They did what they needed to do. They went to the tournament, did what they needed to do. And then even at the end of it, they didn't say anything. They didn't tick-tock, wick-wack. They did what they needed to do. And that's something we'll talk about later today. But I am extremely happy for Brazil and you and the whole
You
coaching
still got
community.
more though.
What's that?
No, I said there's still more. You got to finish telling the rest of it. You got 2 more medals, yes? 4 medals
Oh,
total?
yeah, you got to
Yeah,
talk. Yeah, go
yeah,
keep going, keep
Okay.
going.
uh, yeah. I mean, like I
Well, you were
said, I
number
mean,
three. Listen, Brazil was number three on the medal table at a world championship.
crazy.
I
It's
had
crazy.
to, I had to, I had to, I couldn't find the United States on the medal table. They were at 20. I can't remember the last time that the United States, I mean, I'm sure there was a time that I don't remember, but I don't remember the time that we were ever not in the top of the medal table. You didn't have to turn the page. You didn't have to scroll down like I do when I have to figure out what my age is. When you go to, I have to scroll now, keep scrolling to get to my
Me
birth
too.
date, you know. But anyway, we'll talk about that. But that it's embarrassing. But let's talk about the successes and the takeaways, and
Yeah.
let's keep going with that
You
because I
know,
like that.
like I said, I mean, for Maria to win the gold, it was kind of like satisfaction, and with Enrique, it was just pure excitement and jubilation because of where he's come from and what he's done. I don't know if you guys know, TJ, you might remember in the Pan Am Games last quad, he won the trials and he was going to go to the Pan Am Games, and when they did a body checkup on him, they found out that he has some little hole in his heart. And so the Brazilian Olympic Committee shuts you off. You can't train. You can't do anything. They did more testing. It was like a 4 or 5 month process, and he was close to never competing again. Like if this hole didn't get fixed when they did this cauterization, this surgery, they wouldn't let him compete ever again. And it was touch and go, touch and go. And it came out obviously properly, and it worked, and it was successful. And here he is. I mean, so it's just such a fine line between winning and losing. And for him to win that, it was just exciting. 2 days later, we had one of our veteran athletes, Milena. She had a difficult draw too. She made it to the final. She lost in the final. It was a tough match, and it is what it is. But to get this is her third world championship medals. She's had 2 bronze and 1 silver. I'm like, that's pretty good. I think she's 28. So she's older. And for her to have that kind of performance was amazing. Her physical fitness level was through the one thing I could say about all of our medalists, man, it was yes, they had skill, yes, they had tactics, but their physical fitness was crazy to see. It was amazing. Our staff, our physical fitness trainer, Myra, man, she just did a phenomenal job. It was really crazy. And not to be let down, on the last day, we had our Olympic bronze medalist, Nicino. He had the toughest draw out of everybody. When we saw the draws, they were like, "Coach, did you see the draws?" Yeah, they're like difficult, difficult, and I was like difficult, and I said, "No, man, screw that." I didn't say screw that. I said something else. I said, "Screw that. It's tough for them too." You don't think they're looking at the draw going, "Oh man, we got to fight Nicino," but his second match of the day was his nemesis. He fought the Jordan Olympic silver medalist, the guy that's like TJ. He smacked him up like 2 or 3 times. Like it wasn't close, but Nicino went out there the second match of the day, beat him 2 rounds to 0, beat Croatia, got all the way to the finals, and came up short in the finals again. But we ended up with 2 golds, 2 silvers, 4 huge finals, the best results ever in Brazil history. Made us number 3 in the world. It was absolutely incredible. But not only that, I think we had 3 quarterfinal matches. We had 2 people that lost their third match. Like we went really deep into the tournament. I think we had 1 person that flopped, and it was, it's funny. I'm doing a analysis right now and giving him a grade, and he won the President's Cup. He won the Australian President's Cup, and he's capable. And he flopped, like he fought bad. But by and large, man, the Brazil team was good. But I want to say something because you mentioned something, Young. Everyone's looking at the results and the performance from the athletes and the coaches, and I don't take any credit for sitting in the chair. I don't take credit for pulling the strings in the match, but there was a lot of work and a lot of buildup over a couple of years, and specifically the last 14 months of traveling to Jordan, traveling to Uzbekistan, traveling to Charlotte, sending people to different tournaments, having pre-staging camps, events, pre-event camp, like meetings in the middle of the camp, making sure everyone's doing their job. I don't want to give all my programs and stuff like that, but let me tell you, it was it was a collective group, and I think the whole team felt that. Nobody felt like, oh, it was you and only you and the athlete. Everybody was just like locked in, from the training room to the warm up room to the scouting room to the physical preparation room. I mean, it was just crazy how the momentum started going, and it all just came together. I know it's easy to say that when you're successful, but the plan was correct. The coaching staff was proper, and look what happened. And you can look on the other side. I think we should talk. I mean, because I know we compare Brazil and the United States. We should talk. Matter of fact, um, a lot of people are talking about it because you're right. The performances for the Americans were not that great, and especially from the 2 superstars. I mean, neither one of them scored a point. The female athlete didn't score a point and lost to a very tough fighter. But to not score a point and to get beat by 10 or 11, something is off. There's some lack of preparation or lack of respect for the game or lack of game planning to 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 be beaten that thoroughly when you're an Olympic medalist. That for me is really odd. And for our heads up with CJ, it's strange to me that you guys fought at the Grand Prix Challenge in in Korea. It went 3 rounds, 2-1. CJ won, and to come back and have that kind of performance, something doesn't add up. Something's not right. I don't know if it's athletically. I don't know if it's game planning. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is, but I've never heard of that. I've never seen that with a top level athlete ever. I've seen losses. I've seen you know mistakes made, but that was. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. That was strange.
I would,
Yeah, I
but
mean, go ahead.
no, I just want one quick question. How many likes did he get on TikTok that day?
No, I think it's a tough pill to swallow. We always talk on these podcasts, and I'm like, we need to do this, we need to do this, and we're always referring to USA because that's where that's where we're from. That's where that's where we kind of
Sorry,
we
not
had our
sorry.
careers and everything. Sorry, not sorry, but I mean, it's unfortunate because we have high prospects going into situations where they're highly ranked in good positions and we're not able to finish. That's just the reality. I know it's not an easy game, and nobody says it's easy. Like you just said, you can do a lot of things right, and you can say this, this, and this, but it all comes together and it makes sense at the end. If it does, maybe it doesn't. But just sitting back and watching for me and all those matches between those matches, and we'll get to the other matches afterwards. But it was definitely hard to watch because we're gonna have tough moments at the World Championships. But the reality is, like you said, Grandmaster, it's you got to win when it's time to win. You got to perform when it's time to perform. And I think if I have to just have my 2 cents, maybe too much emphasis was put on the Grand Prix challenges and trying to get into the Grand Prix for next year. And I still think the World Championships is the World Championships. We can talk about levels and participants and all that, but like you said, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, and to come back and end up being in, I think it was 20th. We said it is like absurd. It's got to be bad. Like 20th is bad. There's really no explanation
There's
for it.
no way. There's no. I mean, you can say competition's gotten better. You can say um, the world has changed. You can say the scoring system sucks. You can say a bunch of things that you want to say. But at the end of the day, we're in a performance culture. We're in a competitive environment. And champions don't make excuses. Champion makes results. And at the point where you don't make results, you own that misstep and you move on to make better decisions and better things. And so at the end of the day, there's losing, which happens, and then there's just a general lack of performance where you're 20th on the medal table. When you're 20th on the medal table and you're the USA, which is 330 million people, amazing amount of money, amazing amount of resources, and hypothetically, the best sport support in the world. And you are in charge and you've been in charge, so you can't blame your predecessor. You got to own it. And then the question then becomes, at what point do you correct it? And there has been a slow decline, I would say a rapid decline, but a slow decline, with the exception of outliers from time to time, in the organization that has now yielded it as a perennial non-performer. And when that happens, it's time to change or don't change, and that's okay, but get used to watching the quarters and the semis and the finals from the cheap seats in the auditorium, because you have to leave the holding area and you get to go sit up in the stands. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, you can go down into the holding area and put on your TikTok outfit and fight in the gym and do goofy shit, and that can be your world championship. So maybe the US won that, whatever that nonsense was that was on TikTok with these idiots fighting. And I laughed at that because I talked to Coach Moreno about it. If we went to a world championships, which we did, we went go to many, and as athletes and as coaches and leaders, we went to it to win. We went to it to fight. We used a warm up area to warm up in. We fought, and if we had more matches, which we did usually because we won and we were consistent, we then continued to do that. Nobody was fighting in the gym that wasn't from the same country. Nobody was sitting there ass grabbing and joking around and flying in the air. And if you want to call that the new millennium, well, again, that's not the warrior ethos. If you didn't win, go back into the stands and watch everybody else that's winning. If your teammates are fighting, go back into the stands and watch them. If your teammates aren't winning and they're not on the mat, go in and watch the rest of the tournament, because that's where the winners are, not the whiners and the losers. So this nonsense that I saw on TikTok, I'm just going to call it as I see it because I like to keep it real. Give me a break. I thought that was somewhere else at a different time. Then I realized, I said, holy Jesus, that's in whatever that place is in China. I'm like, if I were the coach, I would have been like, hey, come here for a second. How you doing? Everything okay? Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you have another match coming up? Oh, you don't. Why? And why is that? Oh, you lost. Oh, yeah. And now exactly what are you doing?
Yeah, it was strange. Honestly, for me, I know like some people had, oh, it was so fun to watch and they were having a good time, but I just like, I,
I can't catch that
I,
vibe.
I'm just like, again, this is supposed to be the best of the best. I can't imagine the best soccer teams acting like this, the best MMA doing like this, the best judo people. I can't, I don't know what happened. I don't know
Coach,
what
you
happened then.
lost. You lost. Let's say you lost. Let's say you lost in the quarters. Let's say that ever happened. I don't remember it ever happening. Let's say you lost. Where would you be?
I'd be kind of pissed. I'd be in the stands. If I feel like I had to do some
And what
training, I'd do
wouldn't
some
you?
running.
And
I'm not going with my
by the way,
competitors.
if you weren't, you wouldn't be able to do. you wouldn't be able to fight anymore because your legs would be destroyed, your body would be broken, you'd be exhausted. You wouldn't be in this. You
Listen,
wouldn't be this. I watched that and I was like, if you want to point to the decline of Taekwondo, you can point to that. A U.S. Taekwondo, and anybody else that participated in it. What a bunch of ass clowns, for lack of a better word.
I mean, listen again. You're right. It's a new millennial. It's a new generation. I'm not even hating on them and stuff, but I have to question when you're there, and we can all be buddies nowadays. We could talk afterwards. But like you're at the World Championships. You're at I was the pinnacle of. We debated this before. The pinnacle of our sport. You got 98 people in your category. You got to fight everybody and anybody. You don't know what's going to happen, and then you're going to go just playfully,
Yo,
gleefully train with your rivals.
I'm gonna go one step past. Let's say it's just the new millennial and everybody can be friends and competitors and they can love each other but compete against. Let's just say that. But I mean, you won or you lost. So I think there's a little bit of both in the pick in the thing. A lot of some people won, some people lost. Obviously, if I'm winning, I mean, if I lost 1,000%, I'm not there. But if I won 1,000,000,000%, I'm not there. I'm not in my
Yeah,
brain. I'm not about to risk getting injured playing around in a holding area because there are more tournaments, and this was one moment. Whether it was a good moment or a
yeah,
bad moment, this was one moment. So I can't.
yeah.
I've talked to a couple people about it, and I've gotten a few back and forth. But one person told me like it would just never, even in my day, they said that would have never happened in our day, and it takes this generation to do it. Like I can't picture it happening either.
No,
I can't
I
picture
can't
it
picture
happening either.
Steven Lopez. I can't picture the great Steven Lopez, going out there and be like, "Oh yeah, come on, let's go light spar, let's jump and do flying." It's weird. But I want to. I mean, okay, let's let that go.
Can I ask
I
you a
like
question?
to.
Can I
Yeah,
ask you a question? Because I know you guys are just talking before we get too far away from it. I know you just said both of you have been on a lot of world championships, teams, coaches, athletes. But I guess my question is, if when you're deciding how to split up who coaches who, has you ever been on a team where someone has coached 7+ people and there's 5 coaches
no,
on the team?
yeah. Honestly, I was going to lead into that. I was going to say, like, listen, I got to throw into question. I got to throw the question to you guys or to whoever else, or maybe it's a statement. I made a statement that we specifically did things to try to build up to give ourselves the best possibility at the World Championships. When my superiors asked me for a medal count, I said I believe we have two medal chances, real medal chances. We have Maria and Nicino, our girl that's been winning everything, and our Olympic bronze medalist. I say we have good chances with Enrique and Milena. If things go, they fight well, they could possibly. And I picked this one boy and one girl for maybe. We got all four. Maybe I was lucky or whatever. But I was going back to our plan. I was going back to our coaching staff. I was going back to our structure. If I look on the other side, I think they had one training camp that was thrown together that wasn't really real. Their coaching staff has, one person that has nobody on the national team, has another person that had one person. And again, I like this gentleman personally. It's his son, one person. And then you had the three coaches, the three national team coaches that are out in in Charlotte. But then when I see the composition of the national team and one athlete that has nobody on the national team, never anybody on the senior national team, coaches 8 people. Am I wrong? Is it eight? Eight people. And
I'm
wins
pretty
a
sure it was 8.
collective one match. Now you could say, well, I don't work with them, or they don't know me, or they're learning, or they're not, but they won 8 fighters. You won one match. Am I wrong?
She's not even my concern. Whoever's in charge that decided that they had no more value to add to some of the people on the national team outside of her, shame on them. Shame on them. And I'm gonna say it, and I know I've heard a lot of talking about it, and I'm glad we taken some time and kind of
Hold on, TJ,
process
real fast.
everything in
I'm just
between.
real fast,
Mm.
real fast. I'm not. I agree with you. I'm not blaming her. She did her job. They put her in there. What she's supposed to do. I'm not blaming her on this one. I'm just using that as an
Yeah,
example. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no worries. But someone said I've never seen. Here goes. I've never seen our national team been thrown away so badly in my life. This was the most disrespectful thing I've watched. There's no other word
Five
for it.
coaches. Five coaches. One athlete. One coach that doesn't have anybody in the national team. Coach 50%. The other four split the other 8.
You
That's
know, the most
crazy.
disrespectful one was Michael Rodriguez because they've worked with that boy before. Excuse me, they've worked with him before. He's been out there to training camps. They've coached against him before with CJ. They have the most information on him between, let's say, Landon and Garrett. They have the most information on him. You're gonna tell me that they said, no, 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 you go out there with him. That gives him, that athlete particularly, the best chance to win.
He was just out there, and
He's been on
and
our
and
national team multiple times.
a long
He's
time.
not
He's been on
new.
the team for no, and he literally had test matches with those guys and beat them recently, so they have intimate knowledge of him, and yet they don't go out in his chair. You're right, TJ. That's a great one. That's disrespectful.
It
That's
has to be.
maybe some of these new kids, maybe, but that's disrespectful. That's unbelievable. I mean,
And then,
I'm not. Yeah,
yeah, sorry, I'm trying to adjust my light a little bit.
no, it's
Um,
just I just think the lack of professionalism from that standpoint. I mean, again, if we want to talk about, they have a great facility. They have great strength and conditioning. They have great nutrition. They got great psychology. They have all the stuff, and that's the plan that they put together. To your point, Young, that's just unprofessional. That's not world class stuff. That's not Super Bowl day stuff. That's so
uh,
unacceptable.
I just think it's disrespectful. I I
Oh
I
man.
I just think it's they. Don't tell me that was the best plan you guys came up with. Did I believe what's one coach was there? Did he coach anybody? Our high performer, the coaching director, Paul. Did he coach anybody?
I think he sat in one round for because CJ was fighting, and then I think he had to run over to I think he could coach like one round of the 67 girl.
For me, he's
I
got to be in
think.
everybody's share. I mean, like I don't know how you give 8 people to one person on a
Who's
national
the
team. This
coaching
is
director? Paul who?
Paul's the coaching director.
Paul
Paul
who?
Paul Green.
Paul Green.
Who? Where, does he live
um,
in the States?
no,
Does
No,
he-
I don't even
he's the
know.
one that doesn't.
oh,
Um,
Yeah.
oh.
but you can't
So
tell me we
the head
went
of coaching,
put our heads
the
together
coaching
and this was the
director
best
doesn't
thing to
live
get
in the
at.
States, and then you
Yeah,
wonder
he
where
did.
your
He
performance
didn't even
is. Who was the one that
listen again.
coached?
I
Who was the
just
one that coached the 8 athletes?
That was Nikki, the coach from Florida. She's been working with them as far as she's been on a cadet. She went on some cadet trips with them. I think a junior trip. I don't really know. She's at some of the under 21 stuff. It's irrelevant. Like no one's gonna sit here and ever be able to tell me that we're at the point where she's coaching 8 people on our national team. You're just not
and
gonna
that's in the
you're not gonna
best.
convince me. And
Never.
that's
I
like you
mean,
said. That's been the best efforts of our country.
that's
Not that she's
that's the
good, bad, or
again.
whatever. But
Yeah,
imagine the amount of pressure coaching at a world championship. I'm
yes.
not sure. Don't hold me to it. I think this is her first world championships coaching.
So
I'm almost positive
the way coaching
at the
And she
senior
gets
works,
eight.
level. Senior
And she
level.
gets eight.
the way
8.
coaching works, and I'm going to assume they were 8 women, but the way coaching works, was it 8 women?
No, she
It
didn't
was
coach eight
60.
women. She coached.
No, mixed.
You had a woman coaching in a man's chair, a man athlete, a male
That,
athlete.
young,
That's
young.
not a
That happens a lot nowadays.
yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. And listen, my wife coaches.
That's
Brigitte
different. Yeah,
coaches. There's
yeah,
a
I
lot
get
of
that.
Korean coaches coach, but that's irrelevant. But the fact is, a first-time world championship coach sits in 8 people's chair for the United
8.
States.
Was it lunchtime?
Eight,
People
Was
people
it
that
and the
we again, like you said, it's not
lunchtime.
like we went through prep camps and we could that one coach connected with 8 athletes and they had this strong connection with his 8 athletes. We're talking about we only did one training camp. We didn't really invest any time and energy into actual having the team together. It's just so funny. Like I'm sitting there thinking what you just said about all the things that Brazil did to get ready for this event.
We
Like
did a lot.
I can only assume that everyone else in the world probably did just as much or something very similar. And
Yeah,
I think we threw away half of our national team. And I don't mean that like the athletes has nothing to do with the athletes, not saying they couldn't perform and all that blah blah blah. This is simply couldn't have not been the best plan. You can't tell me that made any sense whatsoever to give a person at the world championships their first time, give them 8 athletes.
that makes no sense.
Let me ask you
That makes no
let
sense.
me ask you a question, and it's just I know the answer, but I like to ask questions. So, if you're coaching an athlete and especially if you have that broad of a base of athletes, and this isn't a gender thing, um, can a heavyweight athlete who's become a coach or a heavyweight guy coach a finweight?
Yes, I know where you're going with it,
So
but
I'm going to tell you that
yes,
in my particular, when we were coming up, I can't coach a finweight. I couldn't, I didn't even understand their game. I couldn't understand the speed of their game and I understood what was possible. But in my humble opinion, when you're getting coaches, you can have a coach that can learn to coach those things. But if I were going to
yeah,
be coached, I would prefer to have a coach who was somewhere in the vicinity of my weight division. That's just me, because I want somebody who understands the difference between speed and power. And I'm going to tell you, I may not be the same anymore, and I don't think it is the same any longer. But I can tell you that a finweight and a heavyweight fight different games
no,
historically.
Yeah,
you're absolutely
yeah.
you're not historically. They do now. I mean, you're 100% right. But listen, I coach lightweights, I coach heavyweights, I coach women, and I think if coaching is your full time profession and this is what you do, and I mean, again, I don't know what people do. I know what my staff does. I know what our technical staff does. I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm in the NFL. We study the films. We
Right.
have a game plan. We know our own habits. We know what our strengths and weaknesses, what we shouldn't do, what we got to be careful with, what the other people do. Our technical guy is sick. Like he'll break down stuff. Like sometimes he shows it to me before, he shows it to me before, and I'm like, my mind is blown away. It's almost like he's like a coach, but he's not a coach. Like he's not the guy to sit in the chair. He's not the guy to give directions. But what he
That's
finds,
that's your TD guy, right? So your technical director should have a
yeah,
broad understanding. So like, when I go back to soccer, when I watch these guys train, soccer guys have a defensive coach, they have an offensive coach, they have a goalie coach because a goalie's a whole different world, right? They have
yeah,
striking coaches. They have coaches that work just with the strikers. Then they have a TD, and I spent a lot of time talking to the technical director, and he was a player. He played with a bunch of teams, and yes, he has a broad understanding just like a scout does, of the game in general. But I'm going to tell you that a striker, for example, that
you can't
coach that work
talk
you
about
can't.
defense.
Yeah, it's a different thing. I
But
and it
we're not that
Yeah.
sophisticated.
yeah
Soccer wasn't that sophisticated a long time ago. I mean, there's plenty of great coaches that coach. Like I'm talking in the La Liga and in Europe and stuff like that. These guys are they probably have those position coaches, but they have the head coach that knows every facet of the game. He can do
yeah
everything. He
yeah
can coach the
yeah
defense, the offense,
yeah.
and so I mean, I think the best of the best coaches we can do
Mm,
that. I mean,
mm.
this is our profession. I mean, look, if someone just comes right out and they're just trying to a heavyweight's trying to coach a finweight, you're right, or vice versa, you're right, or a man to a woman. You have to know the female game. You have to know, like, for a long time, I was an expert in the 67 kilos because Paige fought there for so long. I knew everybody in that category. Everybody. I knew who was coming, who was going, who was in the mix. I just knew them all. And so that was the category that I paid most attention to. So I think you can do it. But again, just getting back to this side, it's just again, I just for all the professionalism and for all the leading up, TJ, you mentioned maybe they prioritized the wrong things and they highlighted the wrong things, and to not perform on Super Bowl Sunday, that hurts. That's like the
I,
Olympics, right? You don't perform at the Olympics and you win the next tournament. Who
Nobody
cares?
knows. Nobody cares.
Nobody
again,
knows.
I've asked before. I just don't know how you keep if you're there and you're on the team and you're one of the coaches on that staff. How do you how does anyone in that keep you out of that chair? Like there's 8 people out there, and there's no. I mean, I'm sorry, I keep repeating. Is no possible game plan that we went out there with success to try to be successful with our national team.
I was
If there was any other explanation of what's going on, that's what's going on. Like they showed everybody right now. Like that's why I say it was
I was there.
disrespectful.
I was there very early, and I was there in the training area, and I watched the American team off to the side, and I watched the two athletes that fought the first day, and one of the athletes, a female athlete, her coach wasn't there, at any of the practices, but yet sat in the chair when she fought. Now, I don't know why, what else he had to do, but I'm like, in the moments before a huge event, in the preparation, you're not there. I was told, I won't give my source, but somebody close inside said those coaches don't want to be here with these coaches. They don't really like them. I was like, whoa. And I was like, if they don't like them, why are they letting them there? Because the head coaches are the head coaches. Apparently, they call all the shots. They pull all the strings. So why not just move those people on? But somehow it was said to me by, not to me, someone really close to me from directly inside. And I was kind of like, that's crazy. That's a crazy statement that these coaches don't like these coaches. Yet they're letting these coaches work with the athletes leading up to the day. Oh, and they will come sit in the chair. So if they could do that, TJ, for that athlete, why couldn't they do that for these new athletes on the national team? Crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I know
I mean,
that's like a little
and again, I know
innuendos
you,
and stuff like that, but
I just don't know. I mean, even I know. I always forget his name. Victor's dad. He's coached people from the academy before. He's been a part of their trips and sat in their chairs. I don't understand how he's like. You don't even utilize him. Again, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know what anything. And again, we're all just asking questions. I'm just asking a question. I
yeah.
We don't utilize him. We give one person. I'm gonna keep repeating. We give one coach 8 people,
Yeah. You bring him on a
even
trip to coach
7,
only
even 5.
give him 3, give him 2, give him 1. Let him help out a little bit. Like he
That's why you
coached
bought
one
him
coach
there,
to coach
right?
his son.
That's why you bought him,
That's
right?
crazy.
That's why we bought
So
him. That's why you put
so
together a team.
good question. If you can bring one coach to coach one athlete, his own personal athlete, why couldn't you do that with other people?
You might
Why
as
couldn't you
well.
do that with you might as well. They don't want to coach him anyway.
Yeah, that's
They don't
got to
want to
be.
coach him anyway.
That's the only answer at this point. They don't.
Uh,
They're unconcerned with the. It's academy, and then you have whoever makes the national team. I saw a post on Facebook, and it was just like
yeah.
the national team should be treated better than the academy guys because this is the national team, and some and but the problem is it's reverse. Like, and again,
Yeah.
this has been going on for a while. For a while, when they started writing stuff like the U.S. Academy, National Academy, home of the national team, that's not even true. That
Nope.
can't be true. Our national team is selected every single year, and every single year the makeup of that team changes a certain percent. So you can't be the home of the national team. I mean, they didn't even have majority of the people on the 8 and 8. Is it 8 and 8 even? And that's just
I
with the
remember
new there.
Mr. Don Lewis said something. He was comparing the academy team to a Spanish team, club teams, 2 club teams. And I'm like, why are we talking about the academy as a club team? Aren't we the national team? Isn't that the USA Taekwondo created a facility for the USA athletes? It's a club team. They do what
Yeah,
they want. They act how they want. They go where they want. They accept who they want. It's no different than peak performance or gold medal or U.S. Taekwondo centers. It's no different. It's a club team. And that's again, that should not happen under the USA Taekwondo's umbrella. It should be the USA Taekwondo Center. That's what it should be. Home of the national team, not the academy. I mean, that's its own. And when they register for tournaments, like Brazil never. We go Brazil national team. That's it. These guys have was it U.S. Academy or just Academy team? They never
something
put
like that. I
USA.
don't know.
It's just crazy. It's just, again, I know we're nitpicking and stuff like that, but they talk
But what are
about
we?
transparency. They talk about building something. You've done just the opposite. You've divided. You've created this academy and everybody else. Even if you're on the national team, the big Michael Rodriguez of the world, outside, outside. That's unacceptable. And look at the results. You're gonna have a shining star once in a while. They got saved at the Olympic Games with with Christina getting that bronze medal. They got saved at the World Championship with Michaela. Both girls had come through the peak performance program too. They got saved with those results. They got saved here by heavyweight John Healy and you know Michael Rodriguez from Miami. They get saved. Like if they don't have, they're lucky they scratched those medals. Because if not, all this money, how much money are these guys getting paid? Coaches,
Who knows?
athletes. How much is the athletes we know how much are getting paid, and as they should. But these coaches are getting paid that much money, a premium in our field, in our sport, a premium. And you come home with that kind of result. Forget that result. That kind of preparation, that kind of planning. Because you could
And
do a plan, and sports can go wrong. That's why I told everybody I was very humble. I said, listen, we are very lucky. We're doing well. Things are going well. But we had a plan. And it's nice that it all came together. And if it didn't work, I would still stand by. We did this, and this, and we lost. We made mistakes. We underperformed. We got beat, whatever it is. But when you don't do anything and throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks, it's wrong. Because that's what they did. That's what they did. I'm sorry. And people are going to hate on me for being that direct and mean, but that's what they did. Tell
And
me I'm
on
wrong.
top of that, no. And on top of that, here's the kicker. I opened one of the USA Taekwondo newsletters, and in that newsletter, there's a chunk that they congratulated the world medalists, rightfully so. Obviously, I know,
Yeah.
like I said, I know we talked over it really fast. I know both of them. Obviously, they've been been doing Taekwondo for a long time. You said one from Miami, one of the guys that's been up there for a while. Nothing to do with them. They were congratulating them, and in the same post they write, it shows that our dominance is asserting or something crazy that showing.
Inspiring.
No, it was crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to butcher what this said. It said, for earning your finishes, inspiring fans worldwide, and proving that Team USA is on a powerful path to dominance in 28.
Young,
In all bold letters. In all bold letters.
inspiring the world.
Powerful path to dominance in 28 in bold letters after that
First of
performance.
all,
What are we
how
talking about?
what's the arrogance that we say that USA is inspiring the world? You think people are going, wow, look what US. They might be going, wow, look what Turkey did, because Turkey they stepped up. I mean,
It's two things.
like
Either these guys are not paying attention and just letting ChatGPT run away with their posts, or they're delusional. There's only two options. They're either that or they're delusional because
It
there's
wouldn't
no
be
way
chat.
USA
It wouldn't
would.
be Chat GPT because it would have gotten it right. The mission of the U.S. Olympic Committee, and i.e., NENGB, which is USA Taekwondo, is to inspire Americans, and only Americans, by the way. That's our job. Our job is to inspire Americans by putting people on the podium. That's what the mission statement reads. That I was on the committee that wrote the mission statement. With that said, it's inspiring Americans. And at the point where you think showing up at a tournament and coming home with some bronze medals is inspiring anybody, that's a loser mentality. So but that goes, remember who's running USA Taekwondo. He's a Schlockmeister he used to sell Australian car products on TV. And good day, mate. And you got your waxer here?
he's not from, yeah,
Was that?
he's not from a
You sure?
he's not from a
He's got an Australian accent. Good day, mate. Would you like it? Oh, bangers and mash. Well, did they have enough? You put a British guy on a podcast or on a TV thing and you think he knows what he's talking, it gives it credibility, except when you watch the broadcast for Taekwondo and there's a British guy going, that was a beautiful turning punch and devastate, I always, but with the British accent, I guess it sounds better. But you hired us. Let's be clear. And this is not to cast shade on anybody in particular. When you hire somebody for the head of a sports performance organization, it's somebody who's either been in sports performance, educated in it, came up through sports, or ran a sports team. If you're running a PR agency, then you should hire somebody who's been in PR. The guy who's currently running Taekwondo for USA was a PR guy. He had nothing to do with sport performance,
true.
not
Sport.
educated in it, doesn't
Nothing.
know anything about it. So that's why you get posts like this. The irony of it is, even guys in PR know not to chat back or clap back. This guy can't help himself. He always claps back when somebody says something and then threatens them. He's worse than some other people. Then your second in command, who may be truly pulling the strings now, was an underperformer on the U.S. team and has been trying to recoup that, and is basically running around on the U.S. dime, drinking the drinks and sitting next to Cho, carrying his bag. They call him in Korea Chogi boy, which means he's his bag boy. He carries his bags, folds his clothes, and when he goes to the bathroom, he shakes his weenie to get the piss off before he puts it in his pants. And now he's vice president of the Cho train, which has driven Taekwondo into the toilet. So between those two ass clowns, that's why you have the results that you have. And so I don't want to call it any differently. Now, why would you expect performance from the coaching ranks? Leadership comes from the top. And in the mafia, they have this saying, the fish stinks from the head down. So when the fish stinks from the head down, why would you expect the coaching thing? Where's the team leader of the team? Where's the head of team saying, you want to do what with the coaches? Where are the athletes standing up for themselves and saying, you want to put who in my chair? Give her a water bottle. She can hand me the water bottle. Tell her not to talk to me. I'll do the rest myself, apparently. And it's it's supposed to be an athlete first organization. But I don't know why we're expecting performance from non-performers at the highest level, empowering a head of coaching that lives in Great Britain and never shows up in the States. And then when he actually shows up at the event because he wants to go to Chinese because they have bad Chinese food in Great Britain. So, and then he sits there and doesn't do anything. And then his bag boy, Mr. Brown, same color as what comes out of my butt and his same ability. Then when they don't perform, the question is what happens next? And apparently nothing happens, except TikTok has been awfully silent. That much I'll say. But when do the Americans, when do the athletes say enough is enough? I don't know. But maybe they don't.
I say after this up, like, again, the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. Like, and I know people feel it. I know people see it. There's no way you can make that make sense to anyone that watches the sport, that's been a part of this organization, that has a child on the national team, has someone that was at the team trials. You can't tell me what we just watched made any sense. We've been told that we have two of the best coaches in the world. That's what I've been told. I've been told.
And so
Where?
you've been told
Nope.
that.
I've
You've
been
been
told.
told. You've been told. And you got a third protege that thinks he is too.
I've been
And none
told.
of them. And none of them
Who's the third
were willing to
protege?
sit in the chair.
Who?
I,
It
I don't
doesn't
want to say
matter. Like,
names.
he's talking about. Now I'll say names. He's talking about Steve Landon. He coaches on the
Yeah.
national team again. Not again. This has nothing to do with the individuals. This is the whole system. You could take everyone's
Yes.
name away,
Yes.
leave
Yes.
it faceless, leave it nameless, put everything that's happened to
Correct.
this point. You
What's
cannot tell
the
me
name
this
of the
makes any sense.
day? Tell me the name of the day. My wife knows it. What's the name of the day when the NFL coaches get fired? What is that called? Black Monday? Black Tuesday?
Black Monday.
Black Monday.
Black Monday.
She's telling me from the background.
Yeah.
And apparently in USA Taekwondo, they have sunny Sundays because apparently there's no Black Monday. And at some point and this has been, and I've said this before, but it's worth reiterating. And it'll make a good clip. Number one, when you're an athlete and you're expected to perform or you're exited from the stage by virtue of your competition record, you don't win, you don't get to go, and you expect them to perform and you blame them when they don't perform. Why do you not hold the coaching staff to the same level? Why do you not hold the leaders to the same level? I'm going to tell you right now that I'm looking at a academy team that my son is on. They're winning, then they're not winning. And at the end of the day, the coach is like, we need to win because, he doesn't say it, but I don't win. My job is on the line. Right. So, and because there's a lot of coaches that want to coach. And that's why you have Black Monday in the NFL and you have whatever you have. But apparently it's always sunny in North Carolina Sunday and nobody gets exited from the building. At what point, though, and this is where I blame the U.S. Olympic Committee because it's so fragmented now, they're apparently not paying attention. Because if you have a high performance
No way.
if you have a high performance plan and you don't perform, you come back. In other words, well, you're in North Carolina, so it takes a little while to get that mail from on the ponies from
After that result, how do you go back and say?
But how do you
we're
go
on the right
back? That's
track,
my
give us
point.
money?
In other words, you go to the World Championships, and then you show up back home, and they're in North Carolina. It takes a while for the ponies to travel to Colorado Springs to get to the whatever. The Pony Express finally goes because they don't have telegraphs or electricity in Carolina, and you send the message back to headquarters. Number 20. What? I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Did you say number 2 in the world? No, number 20. What did your high performance plan say for the number 20?
I was in WCAB when they used to write the results. We sit around the table, they talk about the results, and for the runners, they'd always say in 25th place. They got 25th place, they got 10th place, they got 9th place.
Yeah.
When they got to Taekwondo, it was only first, second, third, and fourth.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even. I had to start like interjecting me like, "Hey, we got 8th or we got 16th," only because everybody else was doing it. But that's what we're talking about at this point.
Listen, it's it's a
I wouldn't.
failure. It's again, and they will even say, uh, we can only be responsible for who we train and stuff like that. But who you train, TJ, I'm gonna say there was three new recruits out to the academy. And again, TJ, I like all three of these kids. You know that, and two of them, if you just look at their performances and how they competed, there was a regression because I know those first two, and they're scrappy, they're good, they're active, and they were none of that. So that's training and coaching. What's wrong? What did we do to them that messed them up? The other one was further along. Let's be honest. The guy from Miami was further along. He's won in Europe. He's won the Pan Ams. He's won on a senior level all over the place, and he had a pretty good day, and he got to the semis and almost made it to the finals. But think about that. If we got the greatest coaches, how come these performances were lackluster? And I love those two kids, and I can't say I love their parents. I know their parents, and they've always been good to me. If they sit in their room and look at that match and go, we're on the right path. Or are they sitting there going, man, something is off. What was wrong? I, I, I would love to have that conversation with them because and I can't believe that they're sitting there going, yeah, that was awesome. I think they're probably going, something is not right. And that's crazy
Think
because you're
they're, you
supposed to get
think,
better.
do you actually think, I think you are too optimistic. I think you're giving them too much. Do you actually think that there's anybody in the leadership currently that's sitting there saying something was wrong? In other words, you can't,
I
and I
mean,
say, I
I
say
was
this
about to
all,
I
say
was talking
that.
about
Like
if
parents.
you,
I was
if,
talking about
oh,
parents.
okay, because I'm just going to tell
I
you
was
in
talking
the
about parents.
organization, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to say this and I'll get canceled, but whatever. The, if you're fat and you look in the mirror and you don't see you're fat and you go back in the refrigerator, that's a problem. If you're fat, the very first thing you got to do is look in the refrigerator, look in the mirror and say, I'm fat, and then don't go over to the refrigerator. I'm telling you, Taekwondo is the fat girl at the dance leaning on the wall and not dancing, and realizing she's not dancing. It's not because she's big boned, it's because she's fat. Now, Taekwondo, they have a magic mirror. They keep looking at themselves because it's been sold to them by the PR director. Oh, I'm sorry, CEO, that they're on the right track. And don't worry, just give us 3 more years. We heard that 4 years ago. They're worse than most political parties. Give me 8 years. I don't have enough time. Give me, whatever. At what point do they open up the 3 letters? And I told you guys that story about the CEO. You get 3 letters,
Yeah.
all right? And he's
But
on he's on his fourth letter.
you're right, TJ. Like we talked about this, I mean, a number of times ago. 7 years. 7 years.
When
Are
do
we
you start
better?
winning? When do you start winning?
It just
nope,
it,
not definitely
and
not
it's
better. We're definitely
and
not
if we
better.
had, let's say we got a gold medal. Let's say they got a gold medal. Let's say they got a silver. But is your program like nipping at like there were some good countries that lost, but they're deep into the tournament and they lost to another quality person. But how many rounds? I mean, I know Mr. Lewis. I love to give him a shout out because he does some good work. I forgot what he said, but how many rounds of 64s did we lose? I mean, that's
Normally, I think it's been
alarming.
trying to. I think it's they're trying to rationalize as a multiple medal world championships, and we're way past that point to be a successful national team or successful national program. We're way past that point.
Listen,
I don't think there's no
you
way
know
you're
I'm a
trying to
realist.
find. Yeah.
I'm a realist, and when people fight, I'm with my own personal people or even world championship people. When you beat Venezuela because of a bow out, and then and then Kazakhstan in the quarterfinals, you didn't necessarily go through Iran, Korea, Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, you can only do what's put in front of you. I'm not blaming that, but let's not act like we're close. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Let's not act like it sounds bad
Just
to
don't
me.
definitely don't say it. Don't put it in writing and send it to the whole the whole membership. Like
Yeah.
you know, but
And I'm happy
I,
for that kid because I like him. He's been plugging along for a while. He's the guy
yeah,
that
me
keeps his
too.
head down. You know what I'm saying? He keeps his head down
Always been
and he goes,
respectful. Always been nice. Always said hello.
Dude,
There was a time that a lot of them they stopped saying hello, but he always said hello. He
oh,
always said, "How are you?"
I
Always,
walked right
always,
past him.
always.
I walked right past him and I said, "Hey, congratulations up, well done." He's like, "Thank you very much, sir." Like super, super nice. And so I don't know. I mean, I know I think we spiraled down into from the good of Brazil to the bad of these guys. TJ, I don't know how much other you watched, but did you have any favorites? Like I tell you what, to me, the badass of the tournament was the Iranian
58.
uh, 58. That boy was something nasty. He was just he beat Olympic champions. I mean, he was just that dude. He was not playing because Iran had a bad tournament. Young, they had a bad
Oh
tournament.
yeah, they're a
They,
good,
but,
good,
but
good country. Yeah.
they're good. But you know what they haven't done? They haven't fought outside of Iran since the Olympics. This is the first time. So they looked. I mean, if you watch them in the gym, you're like, geez, they're phenomenal. And our kid, oh no, they got a bronze medal because Nicino beat their lightweight in the semifinal. But that guy was really, really, really good. I mean, he was nasty. He was messing people up. He had an answer for
What's
everything.
I always mess up his name. What's the 58 from the Korean 58?
Part,
Junso? Is it Junso
One,
Bay?
no, Jinzo Bay.
Junso
what?
Bay.
Jinzo
I
Bay.
watch
Oh,
it. He lost, correct? Just so I'm,
Yeah,
yo,
to
I'll tell
Nigeria.
you what.
I thought
I
you were
think I
talking
put a
about
post on
The Chinese guy, one hung low, not him.
no, not that
Oh,
guy.
okay,
Mm,
all right.
mm.
There was I've never seen a worse holding match in my entire life. I'm not a hundred
Oh,
percent
hold on a
fan.
second. Hold on a
Think
second. Then you
mm,
didn't see my match against Korea against Egypt at the World Cup in Madrid.
No,
That guy held on
TJ,
to me like I was a baby. He couldn't escape
that's
his clutches. Go ahead.
TJ. How
so
many, how many technical meetings have you been to?
a lot,
Average. What's the time? How long does they take? How long do they take?
2 hours,
maybe
hour.
an hour, hour and a
Yeah.
half, maybe
Huh.
Sometimes they're really long, but let's say an
roughly.
hour,
Yeah, hour.
5 minutes.
So what I
Maybe
heard,
10.
so what I heard, I normally I hear a lot of stuff from you, but what I heard outside of my normal source was that it was said that
You guys
the
are like the
referees
CIA.
were
I got a
no,
source. I can't talk
I got a
about this
source
like the mafia. What the? All
from
right.
my source, from who
Yeah,
told me
yeah.
what was going
I
on.
heard from
Um,
a guy next to the guy.
that
Go
they were
ahead.
going to be more lenient and let the fight happen and not make so many calls. I get it. I understand, but you can't tell people who train in a system with the number of deductions and how the rules are set that, oh yeah, we're going to be lenient. Imagine if it was the NFL and they were like, hey coaches, come here. We're not really going to call offsides that much today. So you can just a
Yeah.
little bit. It's all good.
Good
Just say,
call.
but it's okay. It's good. You do your thing.
Yeah.
You can't tell people that. But I watched the Korean 58 kid guy. Listen, I felt bad for him. Obviously,
Yeah, me too.
he's a gas guy. He's gonna outgas you. He's gonna keep kicking. He's gonna push you, and it normally works for him. And it should have worked for him this time. I don't even have an issue with people jumping and holding and kicking. But when I watched is it Niger or Nigeria? Niger,
Niger.
yeah, jump in and just like to stop the action over and over and over again, and we're not making any calls. You have to make a call. You
And
have to
you're
it has to affect the
and
fight.
you're 12. You're a foot taller. He's not like the little guy trying to hold on. You're giant.
But his arms are like
I know.
visibly around the body,
I
around
felt
the
bad.
shoulders.
I felt bad
Why
for
do
him.
we? But that's what I'm saying. We talk about conditioning. Conditioning matters in fighting now. We can label
Yeah.
one thing. You got to be conditioned. You got
Yeah.
to be conditioned,
Yeah.
and you got to be willing to throw 50 kicks around if it has to be, especially in 58. I think it was
Yeah.
like it's close to 45 to 50. It's a lot of kicks can be thrown, but to
And
win a
you know
match
what?
like that,
For them to say that, for them just to come out there, they go, any questions? We were like, it's everything is going to be the same. We gonna no. The referee chair didn't say anything. The technical director, he's like, we told the referees to, don't call unless it's very blatant. Don't call. Just let the athletes fight. And we're like, okay. And then you see that thing for Korea. Look, I'm never trying to help another country. I just kind of like, hey, it is. But you feel bad when you're getting grabbed. You feel bad when all this stuff is happening. We're like, What are we doing? And let's go talk about what was passed. They passed the rules, Young, that there's no video replay. People got smacked in the face, like
Hard.
big ones, Young. I agree with you. I hate this little stuff, but I'm talking big shots. Nothing on the board. They're going to take that away next time. Next year, there's no. You're going to see people get lit up and just keep fighting. It's crazy. I mean,
What?
it's
So
going to be.
the ref. So I get that there's no video replay. I don't really. They never understood the rules to begin with. So explain to me, can the if the ref sees it, could he stop it and then ask for the points to be put up?
Yes,
Only if they give an A count,
Mhm.
that's a mandatory check. But you know what they said? That I mean, I heard from the national team coach from the United States said he asked somebody, and they said they're only going to do that if they see blood. I'm just like, this is like, it's scary because listen, we don't complain when we see big body shots, and we don't complain when we see little touches. So we probably should complain for the head if we're just being logical.
Yeah.
But but I don't know. It's gonna suck, and you're fighting, and you're down by a point, and you decapitate somebody, and you lose.
it's gonna be
Like,
karate. It's gonna be karate at the Olympics. It's the
Gonna
same
be.
thing.
It's been karate.
I
It's
know,
actually
but
been
something
bad
stupid is gonna
karate.
happen. Somebody's gonna get knocked out, and it's not gonna
Oh,
swing frisbee, and it'll change the fight,
that.
and it's
Yeah.
not gonna score, and then you know what I mean. It's gonna look like that. That's what I mean.
but the referee should have to. At that point, the referee should A count,
Maybe,
right?
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe
Yeah, but
depends on if they were
you
paying
gotta
attention or if they
understand
saw it.
what in them trying to avoid the referees because they're cheating and lying or incompetent or all of it. They're going to take away that too because understand how a referee can now affect a match. Guy gets
A
touched
lot.
gets touched in the head, gives him an A count. Decides not to give him an A count. That's the difference between a point and no point. So the manipulation comes back. And the referees have proven only one thing over the years. They continue to be inept, corrupt, or unable. And neither of those are successful.
But before this, they could also
Yeah.
8 count before this. By the way, they could 8 count before this and go to the video replay. So they always had that, but now there's no chance for us to replay it to see if it hit if they decide not to 8 count. So to your point, it's even worse.
Yeah.
The scoring system
Listen,
doesn't
it's
work, nor does it, nor will
no.
it ever work. And there's a whole bunch of just
Remember,
I'm going to Korea in a couple of weeks to make a presentation on this exact thing. So Dr. Kapner is doing a presentation on Taekwondo, and I'm doing another one um, on my subject, which continues to be the electronic scoring thing. And it'll be interesting to see how it's received because I had it translated into Korean as well as I'll be delivering it in English and taking questions. And I did this before at Hanguk Chede. And at the end of the day, fundamentally, the people that created the scoring system, Dr. Kapner and I, and the technical committee, and to be specific, it wasn't the technical committee because they were morons. Philippe Bordeaux was on it. He didn't understand the concepts. And I love David Moon. He fought against it. We created the multi-tier scoring system, and we had an ethos around it and a methodology. And this was without the electronic scoring. Once the electronic scoring came in, they lost the ability. They lost one of the crucial parts of it. And the reason I say this is that you got to imagine you're making a cake. And from time to time, my wife makes whatever baked goods that she makes, and she forgets a step. Rarely, but once in a while, she does. And then you look at the cake, and it doesn't rise, or it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And there's just an amazing amount of disappointment. She goes and makes it again. Well, this happened in Taekwondo. They were making a cake, and they forgot the crucial ingredient, which was actual technique. And when you do the actual technique ingredient, the cake rises because then you lose all the nonsense and bad scoring things. Once they forgot that part of it and purposely didn't put it back in, you end up with what you end up with now, which is something that you can't understand, doesn't look like Taekwondo. And I'm going to say this just so you can hear it. And this is for Don Lewis, Doug Lewis, whatever his name is. And I like him. He should go back. He should count how many of these crescent willy kicks were counted
Oh, those
back.
are good again, by the way.
Hold on a second. But count how many of those actually got scored back in the day, and how many of them get scored now, and how many points are actually scored by goofy things that have nothing to do with Taekwondo, and how many of those were scored back in the day. There were times back in the day when Taekwondo mattered where you would do something and it wasn't a terrific technique and it would hit somebody. You didn't get a point for it. It had to be a technique. It had to be an
That's
actual.
what. Yeah, but the argument will be maybe it should have like you hit him in the head like hard, but it wasn't. I know what you're saying. Like, listen,
Fix the
I
referees, you fix the problem.
yeah
My point has
yeah
always been
we
you.
always go in
It's not
that
a
circle.
it's not a
You're right.
circle.
You're right.
It's not a circle. It's an
It
it's an
is.
easy one.
We talked about it in
I know.
circles.
It's really simple. Fix the refereeing and you get back to the true intent of Taekwondo and what it should be. When you divorce the true intent of what Taekwondo as a martial art is, if you're a quote unquote traditionalist, then you get to this other thing, which you guys all want to call sport. Well, then go play e-game Taekwondo. Let me watch one of my favorite fighters, Aaron Cook, go fight a girl in e-Taekwondo in Singapore while they mutually masturbate on TV. Then go do that. Go do that. That's the I mean, I was embarrassed for him. I wish they would have asked me to
Yeah, he's
fight in
kidding.
that. Like, hey, can you put this on? What do you want me to do? What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I like the VR stuff.
Yeah.
I would I like the VR
How
stuff.
do I turn my?
I
Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull a
That's okay.
TJ. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm still here though.
I don't
Go ahead.
I don't. I guess my issue is like I don't know why it has to be connected to sport. Like you play basketball on a thing. You play UFC has a fighting game. They probably have virtual reality. Boxing has a virtual reality version. I don't think that's connected to sport at all. Like I don't. That's irrelevant. I don't think they're trying to actually
Yeah.
make it a championship or anything. That's just
They are.
entertainment purposes. I know, I got it. But like it's like
Yeah,
esport.
yeah. I get what you're saying.
They read.
Listen,
This is
fair
all
joke.
coming from the USOC trying to make the Olympics
Yes,
more
it is.
popular,
Yes.
and they're trying to do e-games. So Taekwondo, which you don't know, so I'll share it with you. There was a point where Taekwondo was trying to get in the Winter Olympics. And the argument was we can do it at the Winter Olympics. We do it indoors. Chess tried to get in the Winter Olympics. You know what they tried to do? They said, we'll play on ice. We'll put the tables on ice.
Chess.
I was in the room. I was on the committee. The guy
Come
came
on,
in.
stop.
Dude, I wish I were lying. Chess and bridge
At least they
came.
were trying to win.
Underwater swimming. And Chess said, we would like to do this. We'd like to do this. Said, but if we can't get in that, we'll go to the Winter Olympics. And you can put us on ice. We'll play on ice. And I looked at the guy. I said, how about electronic scoring? But this is true though. I wish I were lying. I could tell you game prep stories, which or whatever. But at the end of the day, Taekwondo has fundamentally lost its way. It's forgotten its true essence. It's having a crisis, an identity crisis. And this is what the end result is.
Remember I told you guys in Grand Prix Challenge in Charlotte, I was talking to a source, like that young son. I'm gonna say it again. I was talking to my dude, and all I heard was
Let me
weight
close
champ
my window so I
KP
don't get
beat
shot.
Jada. Yeah, man, you better be careful. I ain't worried. I got guns. Weight champ KP Dado. In all the tests, that's how they tested. And guess, lo and behold, the next Grand Prix is weight champ. The under 21 World Championships is weight champ. Be careful. And if you watch that fight, it's a lot of back legs. I don't think any front legs score. It's all back leg rounds, which, depending who you talk to, it might not be a bad thing, but I'm going to see it live. And I'm leaving on Monday. I got a camp Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday, I'm going to Equatorial New Guinea for the Women's World Championships, and then I go straight to Thailand for the Grand Prix Challenge, the last one. So I'm going to see it over there. We'll be able to kind of talk about it. Kind of more educatedly. But I don't know. All the systems seem bad.
I watched
I
some of
want to ask you.
the Wuxie Grand Slam they were using the weight champ. So I watched some of those
Yeah.
matches too. Interesting. Did
Yeah.
you see? I
Hey,
forget who they're from. There was two boys that were just playing in the center, just kicking each
the
other.
brothers. Yeah, from Bosnia. They were just kicking each other like ding, 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 points going left and right. Hey, going back to the World Championship. Did you see this Tunisia girl? She goes to the Junior World Championships, wins, comes out, and just like smack. She beat the girl that beat Christina. In the no, not Christina. Uh, in lightweight. I'm sorry, in 62. She beat the Olympic champion Martin from
Yeah.
Hungary, and she's good, man. Tunisia had two world champions. Two world champions.
Tunisia?
Tunisia.
How did,
Young. And I say our one thing I'll say we failed at our hotel. Crappy. Crappy. Only good thing is we had a good mall. I had some good Korean barbecue. I went to a North Korean restaurant. Sucked. I got sick. But the Korean barbecue was awesome. Super cheap, good food. The meat was great. But in our hotel, Brazil, Tunisia, Turkey, Egypt, I think like the Czech Republic and Peru. And those, listen to this, Tunisia, 2 gold medals. Brazil, 2 gold medals. Egypt, 1 gold medal. Turkey, 3 gold medals. In our little hotel, we had 8 of the 16 gold medals possible
It's the
in the
food.
world.
It
That was
was the
crazy.
food. Yeah, yeah.
How that food sucked. The food was bad. Food was bad. But good ramen and good.
yeah,
That's
I
about
think
it.
you say that's a good story. I think you saying that I think I wrote something online too about the same thing. Like, how does that happen? How do you get a girl that goes from one, juniors to seniors? Like, it's happened historically, but I guess my thing is what happens
Again,
before that? What happens before that?
again.
There's development, there's building, there's consistency, there's training, there's mentorship, there's all these things. And when you tell me that the window for the Olympic medalist is getting shorter and smaller, you can't tell me that investing in the cadets and juniors in America doesn't make a difference.
Young. It's such a young. I know you were older. My third when I was older. TJ, you were not young, but it's a young person sport nowadays. You could
I'm not
debate
saying
all
it's
you
not.
want.
I'm
You
not
could say
saying it's not. I'm
no,
not
not
saying
you.
it's not.
I'm
Yeah,
just talking about in our era, it was a little
yeah.
different. But in this era right now, there might be an outlier or two depending on weight, but the average age is like 20 to 21 winners. And so let's look at our makeup, TJ. Let's look at our makeup of our big four. Our big four. Let's go heavyweight, welterweight men, welterweight women, featherweight women. By time 2028 rolls around, what one's going to be 25, 26, the others are 28, 29. Like that's
But again, I'll keep it simple. They came in with the ideology and told everyone you had to be younger and told everyone you had to be this and told everyone they had to be 18. They said this. What you're saying is what they said out loud to people, to the membership, to everything. From that point, speaking 7 years ago, they continue to not invest in the cadets, not invest in the juniors, with this ideology behind them. And now we're confused
and they also said that we want to be 3 to 4 deep in every division. Yes? Am I lying?
nope.
That's what they said. And because they didn't invest in the cadet and juniors, we're not there now. Now we have the outliers. We have one good person in every division. Well, and one above average person, So listen, it's a tough state right now. I mean, this World Championships is interesting because come June, all the points restart and the race is on. But you can use this as a measuring stick, whether it's for your program or for your athletes. You can use it, and some people excelled and some people didn't. It was a tough tournament for the Europeans. It was a tough tournament for the Pan American region, excluding us. And we're gonna see where we go from here. And even the rest of the year, like like it doesn't matter. I mean, this Grand Prix coming, okay, we're going. It doesn't matter because the Super Bowl
Uh,
happened already. The Super
yeah,
Bowl happened. The Pro Bowl don't mean shit. The Pro
yeah. I
Bowl don't
mean,
mean shit.
if the because the points for this year are for the ranking for next year for the Grand Prix, correct or no?
Yes, 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 yes.
Right?
But you just needed to get a certain amount of points, and you'll have a leg up when the first one starts in June or whatever it is. But um, you needed these points for something. But I'm just talking about. I mean, they start to zero, so
Yeah, yeah.
it starts in the Grand. Listen, it's the Grand Prix. It's the Grand Prix final. It's the President's Cup. It's the Continental Championships. It's the World Championship. It's the Pan American Games. There's a lot to fight for. There's going to be a lot of points on the line. But listen, this
I
is
think I saw the selection procedures. They kind of put out a like the selection procedure said that all those tournaments from the Grand Prix in Charlotte all the way through all the championships will be counted for and took into consideration when deciding who's going to be on the Olympic team.
what's kind of funny, Young, and this this kind of made sense before. If you were in the top 6 in the world in Olympic ranking, you're on the national team. And that kind of made sense because it was hard to accumulate that. And it was hard to be in that top 6. You had to have a lot of points and a lot of wins. This year, if you get about 100 points, you're probably in the top 6. You know what I'm saying? Like getting a bronze medal at the World Championships, you're 40 open points, which is almost a given. You're in the top 5. So you're automatically on the team. I don't know if
The
that
Olympic
if that
team or the
really
national team?
the national team, the United States national team. But
But
it's weird.
there's not a team trial?
There won't be a team trial in that category.
Not that category. They'll fight for second.
But I don't know that this is again that programming may have been good for last quad, but with this new 2-year cycle quad, maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe not. And I won't give our our selection procedures, but we literally talked about what's the most important: national team, Olympic ranking, world ranking. Like, what is it? Because you could say it's Olympic ranking, or you could say it's a national team. But I have some people that are higher ranked Olympic ranking than some of our national team players. And when our national team players fight them head to head, it's not even close. It just so happens that this person went all over the place and got points in 54, not 58, TJ. And
Yeah.
and they're higher ranked. But you think that's the right person to send to your Olympic qualifier or your Pan American qualifier? You got to think these things through. You can't blanket statement them. And I don't think
Again, closing a pipeline when we're saying all the kids that are winning are 20 to 21 and 22. Closing a pipeline on any division makes 0 sense right now.
yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yep.
And again, I think the difference between this generation, even the generation I grew up, I think when we left the country, we had a chip on our shoulder because we had to defend ourselves at home. That was the difference. We had to. Some of these divisions are uncontested. Some of them
So
are.
do that.
It's
Keep that alive. Keep that alive.
you know what
Because
I
you're
mean.
right. Defend yourself.
You
It's
have
tough.
to. I mean, we have to have something to work with from home. There has to be a reason to go to training. But when you start telling people, oh, because we paid for you to fly here, not that you're not good, you are good, and you get the points or whatever, blah blah blah. And now no one else gets a shot at that division. Well, that person didn't go to 12 tournaments. That
Or
person,
you can listen. You don't have to make them give a walk on. You can say be the number 1 seed, have
there you
a
go.
bye to the finals or something like that. I mean, it's. I mean, and I don't even want to get started on if you're at a certain program. Why do half the kids go there? Not because they go. I don't think we talked about this a couple episodes. I don't think many people go. That's the place I want to be. I think most go. I need to be there because they're the coaches and they're going to give me money. They're going to take me
Uh,
on stuff, and so
and
they get
that
an
was my
unfair
point.
advantage. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was my point when you put all those tournaments on a list from all the Grand Prix challenges because those are, you put for us in the US, you put in your application, they pick the first 5, you get to go. No matter your ranking, no matter if you should go or not go, it has zero to do with ability and or trying to win extra spots at the Grand Prix at the Grand Prix and all that stuff like that. So once you put all those on there, you put every other tournament they get sent to. Can you tell me how it's possible to choose anyone else outside that room? If
Yeah.
those was like, how can you do it?
That's the purpose.
Someone goes to the world.
That's the
Someone goes to the
purpose.
World Championships and gets a medal. Then maybe.
Yeah.
Other than that, how do you make the Olympic team?
That's the purpose. You got to understand the purpose.
Well, I know it's getting long, guys. I mean,
All right. Well,
like I said,
we
this
got
was
more to talk about in this next one, but it's
for
been
sure.
it's
For
been a
sure.
good one, and I'll get this one up tomorrow. And as you know, this has been the Warehouse 15 Late Edition, After Dark Edition, and that's a nice
Sorry, not
shirt.
sorry.
I'm going to be checking my mailbox
Sorry,
for
not sorry.
one. But as we say, sorry, not sorry. We are wolves, not heaps. Wolves.
Yeah, you can't read. He can't read. It's getting late.
Hey, those
It's
Hugo
glaucoma
Boss.
kicking in.
They're the USA Cheese Masters, a digital dream. Hip hop and TikTok and a social media team. Forget the gold medals, forget all the training. While the lackluster legacy just keeps on reigning. Eating bangers and mash with a coach from the UK. Sporting mustache, twitching brilliant, have it your way. Power in the week, a first round goodbye. Another world champs just passing them by. From the land of the brave, the home of the free.